Welcome back to eSIM Studio. So today we got our very first look at the Google Pixel 10 series. So two pieces of information that you're going to need to know in regards to the upcoming Pixel 10 series. We got a launch date set and we have a set of pictures in real life, IRL pictures. Now, the first set of information came out late last night that the Pixel 10 series, the Pixel 10, Pixel 10 Pro, Pixel 10 Pro XL, and Pixel 10 Pro Fold are going to be released on August the 13th. If memory serves me right, it's the same day, I believe, as the Pixel 9 series launched last year. As you know, last year they moved forward their launch date to basically overlap and or beat the iPhone 16 series, basically to try and get a head start on some sales. The Pixel 9 series was an all new look, an all new style, an absolute gorgeous looking device. This year, not going to change anything. They're going to keep it on August 13th. There were some rumors that they were going to move forward the launch date again, even sooner this year, but that is not the case. We will get our new Pixel 10 series on August the 13th. Now, moving forward in the second set of news is we actually got our very first pictures of the Google Pixel 10 series. Now, this is the Pixel 10 Pro. And while it might look familiar, right off of the bat, I saw one, not major difference, but definitely one difference, and I'll tell you the way that you can differentiate the two. So if somebody has a Pixel 9 series in front of you and a Pixel 10 series in front of you, although it might look the same, I'm going to show you one key figure to look at so you can differentiate the two of the Pixel 10 series. So just right off of the bat, this will let you know that this is a Pixel 10. But you can tell Pixel 10 Pro, so this is the smaller Pro version of the Pixel 10 series. You can tell Pixel 10 Pro, and that's about it. Well, the other stuff, I have no idea. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the other photos, and I'll get to the differentiator here in just a second. Now, let's look at some screenshots here. And I think there is a typo on this one. You can tell it shows information, it shows Google, and it gives you the CPU. So this is a equivalent of a CPU check, right? I think the Dev Check Pro is the application they're using. Now, real quick, this sneak peek probably got leaked by somebody in the manufacturing department. Maybe who knows? Normally when leaks happen, you'll normally get just a view of it, meaning you won't be able to see in the operating system. This is a fully working device. Typically what will happen is these companies like Google will send a new Pixel 10 out, a non-working version, like a dummy unit. They'll send it to these case manufacturers. Somebody in the case manufacturing company and/or warehouse will take some pictures front and back of the device and then basically shop it to publishers online, whoever is going to pay the most for a sneak peek picture, right? But this one is different because it's actually showing a fully working device. So it looks like a prototype or an early unit, right? An early unit that has, trust me, we're rolling up on August pretty quick, and we're already in June, so we're in the summer months. Google has started manufacturing these, so this is what makes me believe that this is a production ready unit or one of the first set of units. So what they'll do is, instead of just making a million of them right off the bat, what they'll do is they'll make a couple thousand of them and they'll pass them around just to make sure everything is good on the device, and then they will give the green light for mass production, right? So this is probably an early production unit. Who knows how this picture got out, but you can tell this is a CPU verification application, and it's showing you the CPU. So it's got the new Tensor G5 that is manufactured by TSMC. But check this out. It shows it's 8-core CPU. It gives you the cores right here. But look at that right in the middle. It says 5 nm or 5 nanometer. So that's going to be a typo. The Tensor G5 is a TSMC 3 nanometer CPU built on the second generation node. There might be an issue in the software. The developers need to go in and reconfigure the CPU identification tool that they're using or code that they're using. But it is a 3 nanometer, so it's not a 5 nanometer like it shows. It would be really outdated. 5 nanometer goes back to like 2022, something like that. So it would be definitely not 5 nanometer. But it does give you, it is ARM Cortex 64-bit. Now, let's look at some other screenshots here. So it gives you more information as far as the performance of some of the features on this device. Shows you the temperature, shows you the Wi-Fi, shows you the screen resolution. And what else we got here? Let's show this one. Pixel 10 Pro, another identifier. And gives you some code words. The device name, operating system, you can tell it is on Android 16. This is a non-beta version of Android 16, which makes me believe this will be this is a full build. So basically a sneak peek of what Android 16 will be like when it launches in stable build on the Pixel 10 series. Now, Google separated the launch of their new operating system with the launch of the new phone, dating back to ever since I can remember, even the Nexus days. Google would introduce either a new Nexus or a new Pixel with the next operating system version. Google about a year and a half ago said we're not going to do that anymore because on the Pixel 6 series, I think with the release of Android 12, oh my god, it was very, very buggy. It was almost like they released the Pixel 6 with a beta version of Android 12 because tons and tons of people had software issues, bugs with the Pixel 6. And that's what made coming out with the Pixel 7, that's what made Google say, you know what, we're going to stop releasing new Pixels with new software. We are going to release the software when it's ready, essentially, so we don't have that issue of people getting brand new devices, but they end up sucking because the software is not up to par. So good news is that the release version, the release date, stable build of Android 16, should be right on par, right around maybe within the same month of the release of the Pixel 10 series. So if the Pixel 10 is going to release on August the 13th, they will probably have a full stable build of Android 16, possibly in July. I think they're trying to aim for just before the Pixel 10 series gets released. And even at worst, it'll be probably September, but I doubt that's the case. That's if all else fails, they'll release it in September. I think we're going to get the stable build of Android 16 in the month before August, just so when the Pixel 10 series gets launched, everybody will be ready to rock and roll. That's what happened last year. Now, let's go to this right here. Let me show you this. So let's get to the body of it. So here is the bottom part. Now this is the bottom, this is the smaller Pixel, so it will look a little smaller in the hand. Maybe, you know what? I've been using this S25 Edge for the last 5 days, and it's so thin that when I saw this picture, I was like, God damn, that thing is thick as hell. And I was like, well, duh, it's a regular phone. I've been using the S25 Edge for the last 5 days, and now any phone I pick up, I'm like, damn, this thing is fat. But that looks about normal. We're really not going to change the thickness of the upcoming Pixel. It should be about the same as the previous Pixel, the Pixel 9 series. About the same thickness. Look, they're not changing a lot on this body, right? They're just not. You could tell here's the top of the device. You get the 5G bar on top, which I think we still have. 5G bar on top of the Pixel 9 series is up top as well. But look at that camera bar. Camera bar, nice, big, juicy, thick camera bar, which is normal if you're a Pixel user. But let's get to the one picture, the one key difference. You will be able to tell a Pixel 10 series from a Pixel 9 series, okay? So check this out. Here is the back of the phone. Now, I'm sure right off the bat you're thinking, well, it looks about the same. Well, I think they modified something, and shame on them if they did it so you have to buy all new cases, which Apple's been notorious for basically putting out. The current iPhones that we have are all basically the same, but knowing Apple, they will nickel and dime their customers by changing one slight key difference on the hardware of the device. So you're gonna have to buy all new cases, all new accessories. It's not a perfect match if you use a Pixel 9 case to a Pixel 10 case. And what is that difference? The camera bar. And I know you're thinking, well, it looks about the same. Well, it looks like that camera bar has been enlarged slightly. Now, another thing to notice is look around that camera bar. So not where the sensor and flash are at, not on the right side. Look on the left side, the side that encompasses the sensors. Now look on the top of the black section of the camera bar on the left side. Look at the top and look at the bottom. It's basically bezel-less, meaning, you know, on the front side of phones, the screens, the bezels are getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And it's that little black strip that goes around the display is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Well, it looks like on this Pixel 10 Pro, the bezels around the camera sensors are getting smaller and smaller and smaller, because I want you to take a quick look, stare at that bezel around that black section of the camera bar that are encompassing these sensors. See how super thin the border is around that? Now, look at this. This is I'm going to enlarge my screen now. Check this out. So this is the Pixel 9 Pro XL. Look at the camera bar around my Pixel 9 Pro XL. You see how you can tell there is a bezel around this section right here? You see that bezel? You can see the silver around the black part, right? Around this glass. The new Pixel 9 series, the camera bar, not just the actual where the sensors sit, but the bezel around here seems to be almost zero, which you can tell there is one on here. And it looks like the camera bar maybe the camera section here got a little fatter. I'm going to pull this up again. Let's see if I can get a good side-by-side view. So look at this. Can you see the difference? It looks like they enlarged that camera section to where it's not so much a pill shaped like on the Pixel 9 series. On the Pixel 10 series, there we go. It looks like that part up there got fatter, right? It looks like it got fatter. And this one looks like it's more of a pill shape. So that'll be the key difference. You will be able to tell between a Pixel 9 series and a Pixel 10 series. So very interesting. We will be getting one, probably the Pro XL, I'm assuming. Definitely a Pro version, either the Pro or the Pro XL. Here's my thinking. I love the Pro XL because of the screen size, obviously, but I use my Pixel for shooting video and taking pictures, specifically for this YouTube channel. Now, I think I'm almost tempted to get the small one, because when I am shooting audio and video, the smaller one is easier to hold, right? It's just easier to hold. The big one, although I've kind of found a good way to hold it with my fingers like this, like that, when I'm taking pictures and stuff. The smaller one is easier to put in in your hand, and also in a tripod or something where you have to connect it to something or clamp it down. It's just easier with a smaller phone. So I might get the smaller one, but I think I'm just going to go ahead and get the bigger one. But this model says it has 256 gigs. I'm just waiting for the date that all these phone manufacturers kick the 128s to the curb. 128 gigabytes. It's just too small. Like, people will run out of memory in no time. I can go through 128 gigs within a month, well, probably about 2 months, 3 months if I really wanted to. But people, the average update schedule for upgrade schedule for an average United States citizen who buys cell phones is 2.8 years. There's no way somebody can stay under the 128 gigs. And let's be real, it's even less than that. I think it's like I don't know, 112 or something like that, because because some of that memory is stored for use with the operating system. So it's actually less than that. It's like just over 100 gigabytes. Well, people will blow through that. I think 256 needs to be the standard, not just for Pixel, but for all phones. That includes Apple, that includes Samsung, that includes Google, that includes Oppo. I think Oppo is kind of going. I don't think they put out 100 unless it's like a cheaper phone. But look at nothing. They're 3A. Their 3A base model, at least here in the US on the beta version, program, is 256 gigs. So slowly but surely, you'll see these companies kicking 128 to the curb, and the base model will be 256. So I'm hoping that picture that we saw that had 256 gigs is the base model, and we can move forward and kick 128 to the curb. But we are RIP hashtag Team Pixel here at eSIM Studios, but we are part of the Pixel SuperFans group and Pixel program. So I'm always going to have a Pixel next to me. I fallen in love with these devices, and I did not expect them to change a lot as far as in the design room with the new Pixels, but that's fine. They look beautiful, and I freaking love these phones. And very unique looking. There's no other phone that looks like it, and that's what they were going for. Very identifiable if you see one in the real world. So stay tuned to eSIM Studios. I'm going to keep a close eye on this Pixel 10 series, and we're going to have all your Pixel 10 news and information, especially coming up to launch date. I believe we're going to try to go to the physical Google store and grab one of these on launch date, but one opened up about an hour away from us, so stay tuned for that. But appreciate the time. I'm gonna get out of here. Stay tuned. eSIM Studios, all your Pixel news. Peace.